Good morning. It's Sunday, November 3rd, I guess it is. And I'm trying to make a decision on what to do to finalize the fit of this door. I think what I want to do next is remove that top aluminum channel piece and make sure. Wait a minute. No, that wouldn't. No, that won't do it either, will it? I was thinking that maybe that top channel piece was preventing these from coming toward one another, but that's only the case on the bottom where the aluminum channel is between the side pieces of channel, and this is not where I'm having my issue. It's at the top. So yeah, there's really not much I can do with this seam. This could be a little wider down here. I think I need to trim the side of the door. This side. Yeah, let me pull this tarp off of here and sit and look at this for a while and decide what I want to do. Well, it's going to be one of those days, I guess. Got the door off, and I just got done milling about a 32nd of an inch off of this. I tried using just a regular mill bit. It works just as good as the router bit did, probably even better. And I only ran at about 1500 RPMs, so it's easier on the machine, easier and everything. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull a hinge off the door. I'm actually getting a little bit concerned about removing and reinstalling these screws so many times. I'm very careful about every time I do it to make sure I'm not cross threading so I don't damage the hole, the threaded hole. But so we're in a little bit here. I feel a little bit of an edge, and it's parallel with this. So there's nothing I'm going to be able to do with that. Let me check this one here. Yeah, this one, these are all about as perfect as you're going to get with that jig that I made with the router. Yeah. I guess the only variation is this. This is a little bit of a crude operation because, gosh, I'm getting water in the garage. Let me close the door. Alright, so kind of what we're battling here is the back of this piece, or this piece is tapered, and when we put it in a vise, we have to struggle with getting it to be level with this surface, and we also struggle a little bit to get level with the table. And you know, I didn't use my toe clamp on it this time to hold it down because I'm just kind of like tweaking. I put my dial indicator on the mill and run back and forth to make sure we're level. You know, doing whatever I can do. So we took a 30-second off of that one. I think we'll take a 30-second off of this one as well. And see how that helps with the sag of the door. Alright, we're kind of huddled under the tarp here, trying to stay out of the rain. God, it sucks. So we're done mortising the top two guys a little bit deeper. I think that's going to make a huge difference. Not only did I go a little bit deeper, they were both canted a little bit this way, and that would exacerbate due to the leverage, I guess you'd call it, where the pin is out here. So if it's just tilted, even if it's in the right plane, if it's tilted, it's going to move the door that way. So that's going to make a huge difference. I really want to pull the door out of the house and stick it up in here, but I don't want it to get wet. Another thing I did is I put this piece of wood back in line with the inside and put the nail back in its original hole right here. And before I took the door out, I put the door back in here. I don't mean to say it. Before I took the door out, I set the door depth so that the bottom edge was flush right here. And then I took a pencil and I drew a line all the way up to the top and across. So that is probably going to be the fix that I'm going to do to compensate for the twist in the design of this bus. And then that keeps my inside nice and neat. So when you're on the inside of the bus, it'll look straight. And when you're on the outside of the bus, it'll look straight at the bottom where anybody would happen to see. The only place it won't look straight is when you get up to the top. You're going to see that gap between this piece and this piece up at the top is going to be wider at that end than it is here. And there's just nothing else I can do about that. It's, you know, something's going to give somewhere, and I think that's the least noticeable way of doing this thing. So I'm not going to cut that. I'm just going to leave that marked. I'm going to let that kind of percolate in my head for a while, because I honestly do think that's pretty much the easiest way to fix this. If I move the wood and try to glue something on the outside here, that's going to be a pain. I mean, it's only a little, like what, 3/8 inch thick piece. I can't spline it, you know. So we're gonna just probably go with that. I guess the other option would be to glue a piece on the outside. I'm pretty sure I don't have one, so anyway, let's kind of see if we can see what's going on with this weather. Maybe we'll get the door in here and reinstall it. I can't put the door in unless I have the door swung open and sitting on this 5-gallon pail in order to get the drill in here. So in order to do that, the tarp's got to be off, or I got to find some way of propping this thing up. All right, we're back at the door hinge adjustment thing here going on. I've already got this side of the door, this hinge and this hinge. I redid the mortise a little bit deeper, so we are like within freaking 20,000ths of an inch in our gap here. Very, very even, and we're still tight on this side. I went ahead and pulled off the aluminum channel, and what I did is I took my Sharpie pen in the area that the door needs to be trimmed, and I just colored it so that way when I use this device to put a scratch in the door where it needs to be cut, it'll show up. So you can just barely see the line. It starts right around here, and we're a good, I guess, 1/16 of an inch at the top to nothing at this point. So I guess I could, yeah, I'm gonna take the door off. There's no way I can do it hanging up here. All right, we're all set up. We're getting ready to make this cut. You can't really see the lines worth a damn on this thing, so I'm going by memory and by intuition here. I know I needed to go from about here someplace having no cut, and over here about a 1/16 of an inch. So I've clamped this piece of plywood to the door so it won't move. So this is clamped to that, that's clamped to this, and this is clamped to the door, so this can't move. Alright, up and down is really not critical. This is just going to be a guide for my saw to ride against. So when I come back here and I look, I'm just about the thickness of this blade, which is about a 1/16 of an inch, where it's going to cut here. And then over here, kind of can't do this with one hand, but when I pull the guard up out of the way, the blade is just barely touching. The only thing I don't like about what I'm doing here is I'm cutting in the upward direction, and you know, I don't know how good that epoxy was that glued this on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a really shallow cut, about 1/4 inch deep, to get through the aluminum first, so the blade is kind of coming at a forward angle, not so much of an up angle. And once I make my first cut, then I'll come back and set to the full depth, and I'll cut this the rest of the way off. So the blade angle is still set to 4 degrees, like I had it yesterday when I cut the whole edge of this door. It kind of bugs me that I have to do this, because I really honestly don't see what's going on, because when I put a straight edge on this right here, it's straight, and when I put a straight edge on the door jamb, it's straight. Let's try that just one more time. All right, I mean, that is just absolutely straight. All right, there's no belly in it, no rock. For this whole 4-foot length straight edge, it's straight. And come back over here one more time before I do this cut. Let's just see what's going on. All right, it does have a little bit of a belly in it, but it's minuscule. We're talking 10 or 15 thousandths of an inch. So I guess technically it's not a matter of straightness, it's a matter of just that the door is wider at the top, but it only seems to show itself at the top 2 feet. So I'm just going to trim the door. This thing's killing me. I need to get through with this. The gap on the right side of the door looks perfect. The top edge, it looks perfect, and the bottom edge is perfect. So here we go. Wish me luck. Done. We took off nothing in this area, and we took off a 1/16 of an inch from this area. Now I'm going to come over here and smooth this thing off with the file so I don't hurt myself, and we're going to give her another test fit. Hopefully we got it this time. The fit is perfect. We've got a little less than 1/8 of an inch straight up this side, and we got a little more than 1/8 of an inch on this side, and it's straight. Here, this is a little bit of a... Alright, I'm liking it a lot. So now we can finalize this door. We can glue the aluminum on all the way around and call the door done, except for putting the glass in. And that's a great day. Today is a great day. Oh my gosh, feels good. So next, I'm gonna leave the door on here for now. I think I'm gonna trim these guys. I'm convinced that, let me tap this in just a little bit more, right about there. Okay, so we're even at the bottom, and we can trim this thing off up to like a 1/4 inch, 5/16, maybe 3/8 of an inch up there, and a taper cut on that from nothing to match whatever that is, and those pieces come off so I can do this on the table saw. Taper cuts like that will be really easy to do. Yeah. All right, look at there, man. Got the hardware on. I already changed the key, rekeyed them to match the back door, which is kind of nice. Here's finished work. Right on the button. So I learned when I was drilling these holes that this is not adhered all that well. That epoxy, I mean, it's on there, but it cracks off pretty easy. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to go with my plan B and put decorative screws around the perimeter of this thing, just so I've got a little bit more peace of mind. And you know, I just don't want to have any trouble. It'll look kind of nice with some, you know, I don't know, I'll have to find some screws. But the door's done except for the glass. And now the decorative screws. Fits like a champ. Got the little bevel on there. The aluminum channel is ready to be glued on now. It's not glued yet. So, gosh, what a job. What time is it now? It's 6:15. I have to reset that clock. Been out here most of the day working on that thing and getting it all to fit. I seriously need to clean up this garage. I use this to drill out the holes in the doorknob. This is where I got the revelation here that that epoxy didn't really adhere all that well. Popped it right off. Of course it was hot as shit because I was drilling it, but I would have liked a little bit better bond than that. So that's it. See you next weekend.